Hey guys, welcome. I'm Carlos. Thank you for joining us. This is going to be just a quick movement practice, whether you just finished a bodywork session with me or you've taken some of our classes and you want to dive a little bit deeper into how to touch into that same magic that you felt there. This is the doorway in. This is the pathway in. This is how to move your body in a way to make that magic more obvious and how to express it. Yeah? Let's get started. So come down to the floor. And as you come down to the floor, come onto your hands and knees. And as you come onto your hands and knees, don't take for granted the way that the ground feels underneath your hands, the way the ground feels underneath your knees. And let yourself lean into one hand and then the other. And just notice what touches. Notice the places that tense. Notice the places that seem easy. Notice the places that seem turned off. Let yourself lean over to one hand. Lean over to the other hand, staying as soft as you can, so without over forcing anything. So what we're going to try to do here first, in the way that we set our hands, is to clear the communication from the hands all the way into the shoulder blade, into the back of the heart, into the deeper musculature, the deeper parts of ourselves. So notice the way that you set your hands naturally. And I want you to turn your hands in a little more from where you're used to. Again, I don't want you to turn them way in where your elbows are pointed out, just to challenge it a little bit. And instead of pressing down through the inner edge of the hand, I want you to use your hand as if you would use a foot. So let the inner edge of your hand, the arch of your hand lift. Let the fingers be soft, so you're tilting the weight out into this outer pinky moon of the hand, to the pinky side of the hand, this packet of muscles on the outside. Soften the elbows. And then spin the shoulder blades till the elbows start to point more back towards your knees. Keep a softness in the elbows. Keep the elbows back. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let yourself lean back, hollowing the belly, until you feel a pull into your upper back. The elbows are going to want to wing out. Do what you can to keep them hugging in and pointed back. Let your inhale inflate you and draw you forward. Keeping the elbows pointed back, exhale, hollow, and lean back. Let yourself pulse. Connecting that pull from the back of the shoulder blades into the outer edge of the hand. And then let yourself start to roll. Let your inhale float you forward. And let your exhale hollow you back. And notice how much tension, how much effort you're using. So instead of thinking you're forcing this, can you float on your breath, which is with as little muscular effort as possible? Inhale floats you. Exhale hollows the belly and draws you back. Soft and subtle. Now the next time that you come forward, stay there. Lean a little bit more weight into the left pinky packet of muscles so your right hand gets to be soft. Now press your left hand and right knee away from each other in a diagonal. So left hand presses that way, right knee presses that way. Hold on to that tension. Keep a softness in the elbow. Take an inhale here. And again, exhale, push hand away, hollow back. Inhale brings you forward. Exhale hollows you back. Keep the tension, keep the push between left hand and right knee. The right arm, right hand, super soft. Even the fingers are soft on the left hand. And notice where this wants to spiral you. You can start to push, use the push of your left hand to hollow your right low belly, to let your right low belly come in as you slide back. And the inhale draws you forward. Shift over towards your right hand. Lean into the outer edge of the right hand. Push your right hand and left knee down and in opposite direction so you're holding on to that tension. Take an inhale here and exhale again. Hollow the low belly. Let yourself slide back. Inhale draws you forward. Exhale hollows you back. Now the left arm is super soft, almost no weight in the left arm, working into these diagonals. Use the push of the hand to support the hollowing of the belly. Now feel free to change directions, pushing one hand, one knee, Other hand, other knee. Soft elbows, relaxed fingers, trying to transfer the weight out of the neck and into the spot behind your shoulder blades with as little effort as possible. You can do this as slow or as strong as you want. And now keep some of that movement going. Tuck your toes under. Keep the weight more in your legs. Hollow the belly up and back to lift up into a soft dog. Keep the weight on the outer edge of the hands again. Notice if your elbows want to wing out. Soften the elbows. Spin the shoulder blades so the elbows point more back towards the knees. Neck is clear. Knees are bent. Do the same thing with the feet. Turn the toes in. Knees go wide. Keep the weight in the legs. Let your pelvis shift one side then the other. Pushing one hand away, the other hand away. Keep a little softness in the movement, but use some of that sway to take small steps towards your hands. And when you get to your hands, line up your feet underneath your hips, soften your knees, and let your upper body hang heavy. Relax the head, let the back of the neck go long. Take a few deep breaths here. So when you come to your forward fold, do the same thing. Turn your toes in slightly the same way that we did with the hands. Imagine your inner arches lifting. Knees are soft, but they're wide. And then on your inhale, bring your hands to your thighs. Let yourself settle there. Let your pubic bone and top of the pelvis slide back. Now soften the front of the ribs into the back of the body and let your wings open wide. Again, it's not a squeeze of the shoulder blades. It's a widening, like you're opening up a parachute that you're going to catch wind in. And then exhale, float down. Again, inhale, soften the front of your body into the back of your body so you have this soft curve into your low back. Open the wings wide. And exhale, a soft float down. Inhale, reverse skydive one more time. Open the wings wide. And exhale, float down. Now from the outer glutes to the outer feet, push down. Use that push to roll your spine all the way up. Float your arms up to the sky. Keep the belly hollow and even come up onto your toes as tall as you can. And exhale, feet down, hands down. So from here, notice where your feet normally land, where they naturally land, where they feel comfortable to you. And from wherever that is, turn your feet in slightly. Again, it doesn't have to be massively turned in. It could be just a soft turn in from where you're used to. And now soften the knees and let your pubic bone and the top of your pelvis both slide back. So it's not a tuck under. If there's a tuck under, then the pubic bone gets pushed way forward and we put pressure in the low back. If I take the top of the pelvis forward, pubic bone slides back, but again, pressure in the low back. So it's not a tuck. We need to take the top and bottom of the pelvis and hollow both of those back. Now let your thighs roll in. While the knees stay wide, let your thighs roll in. It's going to let you get a little bit more of that hollowing. And then sitting bones towards each other, widens the knees and stands you up. Take an inhale here. And then again, as you exhale, hollow the low belly, pelvis slides back, ribs soften back, thighs roll in, knees stay wide. Sitting bones towards each other, stand up, open the wings. And then exhale, vortex chair. Soft hollow, soft ribs, sit deep. Sitting bones towards each other, knees go wide, open the wings. Again, exhale, hollow, soften the ribs, pubic bone and top of the pelvis slides back. One more, sitting bones towards each other, knees go wide, roll onto the outer edges of the feet, lift the inner ankles, come up high on the toes. And then exhale, heels down, thighs roll in, pubic bone back, top of the pelvis back. One more like that, sitting bones towards each other, knees go wide, tip to the outer edges of the feet, come up high up on the ball mounds, open the wings. And then exhale, vortex chair. Now from here, make your vortex chair soft. Keep the weight on the outer pinky moons of the feet. Almost imagine you're trying to get a pull from your inner ankles all the way up through your inner thighs and up into your pelvic floor, even up into your diaphragm. Take a big inhale, lift the ribs off of the pelvis, and see if you can find a soft pulse in your vortex chair. Shift your weight back and towards your outer left leg. Left knee stays wide. From your outer left butt, push into your outer left foot. And then shift your hips back and over to the right. Right knee goes wide. Weight is in the outer right hip to the outer right foot. Hips go back and to the left. Hips go back and to the right. One more time, back left and back right. Come back through center, sitting bones towards each other. Open the wings, come up high up on the outside of the feet. And this time, tip forward, soften the ribs back, parachute down. Inhale, reverse skydive, halfway up, soften the ribs, keep the belly hollow, open the wings wide. Exhale, parachute down. From the outer glutes to the outer feet, push down, roll all the way up. Wings open wide, come up high on the ball mounts. Pubic bone stays back, soften the ribs. Open the front of the hips as much as you can, come up as tall as you can. And then exhale, soften, arms by your sides. Take a deep inhale, float the arms up, come up high on the ball mounds of the feet, the outer pinky moons of the feet. Open the hips as much as you can. Soften the ribs back and stretch out through your fingertips. And as you exhale, vortex chair again. Knees stay wide, but thighs roll in. Soften back, soften the ribs. Shift your weight back into the left. Left knee goes very wide, so the left knee always stays outside of the toes. And then shift back and outside, so right knee goes very wide. This time, keep the weight on the outer edge of your right foot. Start to lift your left heel. Keep the weight there. And as you start to lift the left knee, hollow the belly, soften the ribs back. Take your left hand to your left ribs. Pull your left ribs back as you bring your right wrist gently to your left knee. And again, notice your standing leg. Bend the knee. Knee goes wide, belly is hollow, so you're on that outer pinky moon of the foot. The inner ankle almost wants to lift up here. Find a little pulse here. And make sure your left foot is soft. So instead of thinking you're holding the left leg from the hip flexor, can you hollow the belly back, soften the left low belly, and almost feel like you're hanging the leg on the diaphragm, so right underneath your lungs, and let your left foot be soft. And bring the left foot down, shift your hips back into the left, outer edge of left foot, left knee stays wide. Find the connection from your outer left glute to the outer left foot. Lift your right heel, soften the ribs back, and keep your gaze forward. But as you start to lift your right knee, let your pelvis spiral to the right. Hollow the right low belly with your right hand. Hold on to your ribs and slide your right ribs back. Bring your left hand gently to your right knee. Find a softness in your right foot. Left knee stays wide. Belly is hollow. Find a pulse here. Find a softness here. Foot down. Shift your hips back and over to the right. Left hand, left ribs. Pull the left ribs back. And this time as you're doing it, let yourself hollow back. And with your right hand, push from the back of your heart. Push your right hand forward as you slide your left ribs back. And then left foot down, hips back and out to the left. Again, right hand, right ribs, float it up. Heart stays forward. From the back of your heart, push your left hand forward as you slide your right ribs back. Bring both feet down. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, open the wings, heels down, parachute down. Inhale, reverse skydive, open the wings up. Exhale, float down. From the outer glutes to the outer feet, push down. Float all the way up. Come up onto the outside ball mounds of the feet. Lift the inner ankles. Come up tall. Open the front of the pelvis. Lift the belly as much as you can. Exhale, soft vortex chair. Thighs roll in. Shift your hips back and over to the left. Back and over to the right. Again, keep the knee wide. Float the left knee up. Left ribs slide back. push your right hand forward. But this time, step your left leg back into a lunge. And for this lunge, make sure that your feet are as wide as your hips, so you don't want to be walking a tightrope here. We're going to set up the feet the same way that we did before. So from wherever you're used to, turn both toes in slightly. Bend the back knee, and again, take an inhale. And as you exhale, top and bottom of the pelvis both slide back. Sit deeper into the right hip pocket. So if you notice the right inner thigh, right where the right low belly is, let that spot hollow more and let yourself sit into that hip pocket as the left hip starts to wrap around. Sitting bones towards each other to come up out of it. Keep your left knee wide, roll the weight into the outer left moon of the left foot, and then as you exhale, hollow, let your whole left thigh and heart spin towards your right knee. Sit a little bit deeper, slide the pubic bone back, take your right hand to your right ribs, pull the right ribs back, and from the back of your heart, press your left hand forward. Notice how the left heel is tipping out to the left, so it's not straight ahead. The whole left thigh is turned in, left knee stays wide, and left heel's flipping out to the left. Sitting bones towards each other, comes out of it a little bit, let the left thigh open. Keep most of the weight in the outer right foot so the left thigh can spin. Right ribs go back, left heel flips out, left hand pushes forward. Sitting bones towards each other opens you up. And then again, right ribs, hollow, spin towards your right thigh, push out through your left hand. Shift your weight into your outer right foot, step forward, open the wings, and parachute down. Inhale, reverse skydive, halfway up. Wings open, ribs soft. Exhale, float down. Outer glutes to outer feet, push down, float all the way up. Open the wings. Lift the inner ankles, tip to the outer edges of the feet. Exhale, vortex chair, soften the ribs, hollow the belly. Let the thighs roll in. If your thighs are rolling in and bringing the knees together, hug your sitting bones together, keeping the hollow to keep the knees wide. Shift the hips back and to the right. Shift your hips back and to the left. Outer edge of left foot, left knee stays wide. Slide your right ribs back, float the right foot up. From the back of your heart, push your left hand forward. And you can use that push to get your ribs to soften back into your body. Again, right foot soft, right toes soft. Tip forward, step your right leg back into a short lunge. Again, feet are as wide as hips. Bend into both knees. And even though the toes are going to turn in on both feet, still keep the knee on the back foot and the front foot wider than the big toes. Take an inhale here and exhale, hollow, vortex lunge, soften the ribs back. Sitting bones towards each other, let it open you up. And then again, exhale, hollow. Let the left low belly hollow more. Soften the ribs and let your whole right thigh spin in. So your right hip is wrapping forward as your left low belly hollows into that pocket. Sitting bones towards each other to open. And then on your exhale, left ribs back, heel flips out as you go deeper into that hip pocket. Sitting bones towards each other opens. Exhale, hollows, spin. One more time, sitting bones towards each other opens. And exhale, hollow. Take your head to the outer edge of your left foot so your weight is outside your center of gravity. Now you can use gravity in that way to put weight there. Shift your weight forward. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, open the wings. Exhale, float down. Outer glutes to outer feet, push down. Come on up, open the wings, high up on the ball mounds of the feet. Exhale, vortex chair. Shift your weight to your outer right foot, float the left knee up, soften the ribs back. Find the place of ease, so your right knee's wide, outer edge of right foot. Left foot soft, hollow the belly. Slide the ribs back, and then step back into your lunge. Again, feet wide, hips wide. Hollow the belly. Turn the toes in so your weight is on the outer pinky moon of the feet. Sitting bones towards each other. But this time you could add a little bit more movement. As the ribs slide back, you don't need to use your hand. Maybe you're gently touching your knee with your left hand. Sitting bones towards each other open. Then again, exhale, seaweed lunge. Let yourself move as if on a current. Move with your breath. Now notice the right knee. The right knee isn't moving. The right thigh bone is staying where it is. And it's the whole pelvis that's wrapping around that right thigh. So let yourself dance around that right thigh. Coming forward and back. Ribs stay back. Pelvis stays back. Finding an ease as if you were riding the current. Seaweed in the ocean. 2. 1. Shift your weight to your outer right foot. Take the weight of your head to your outer right foot and use that to step forward and parachute down. Inhale, reverse skydive, come all the way up, outer edges of the feet, come up tall. Exhale, vortex chair. Shift your weight to your outer left foot. Float the right knee up, hang the foot, soften back, right ribs back. Then step back into your lunge. Feet as wide as hip, turn the toes in. Pubic bone and top of the pelvis go back. Sitting bones towards each other opens it. And then exhale, spin around your left thigh, touch the knee. And then find your rhythm, find your pulse here. Every time you come in, let yourself spiral. Sit deeper into the left hip pocket, sliding the left hip back. Finding the place where you're wrapping around your left leg. Whole right thigh spins in. The right hip wraps forward as you spin around that axis. For 2. For 1. Weight to the outer edge of the left foot. Put yourself outside of your center of gravity. Bring the back foot up. Come up tall, open the wings. Exhale, float down. Outer glutes to outer feet. Push down. This time roll your arms all the way up through the front. Come up tall. Exhale, vortex chair. Shift your weight back into the outside of your right foot. Lift your left heel. Step your left foot back into a small lunge this time. So again, weight into the outer edge of the right foot, this outer pinky moon, with your inner right ankle almost lifting and pulling up into your pelvis. Now hollow the right low belly more. You can even bring your fingers there. Hollow more. Soften the ribs back. And as you do that, spiral yourself more towards the right so your heart and your right knee are starting to point past your pinky toe. Now stay there. Take the weight of your head to the outside of your right foot. Slide your right ribs back. Maybe you start to play with lifting the back foot as you tilt your heart forward. Maybe it's just for a second. Most of the weight is in your outer right foot. Play with your balance here. Tilt forward. Soften the ribs back. Keep spiraling. Keep your right ribs drawing back. Tilt forward to seagull. Maybe let your left fingers dangle. Slide your right ribs back. Soften your ribs. Spin your left inner thigh, your lifted thigh. Spin it more towards the ceiling. And maybe dance your left fingers onto the floor. Step your feet together and bow. Inhale, float all the way up, arms up. Exhale again, slide back, vortex chair. Shift your weight back into your outer left foot. Float your right foot back a little bit into a small lunge. All the weight is in your outer left foot. Widen the left knee, hollow the left low belly. Start letting yourself spiral towards that left leg. Left knee and heart, both pointing past the pinky toe. Soften the ribs back, tilt forward. Hug your left sitting bone towards your right sitting bone to wrap that hip back even more. And start to play with lifting your back toes. Again, it's not here. Let yourself continue to spiral to wind yourself up on the inside and to use that to find a sense of ease here. Tilt forward. Use the wrapping of your pelvis to hold you. Bend your left knee and maybe just tickle your right fingers on the floor. And then step your feet together and fold. Inhale, reverse skydive halfway up. Exhale and float down. Outer glutes to outer feet, push down, float all the way up, open the wings wide. Exhale, vortex chair. Again, shift your hips back and to the right. Left leg floats up, spiral towards the lifted leg, left ribs go back, left leg soft. Weight in the outer right foot, hollow the belly, step back into your small lunge. Hollow the belly. Let the right hip crease come in. Spiral your upper body towards your right knee, spin your left inner thigh. Now this is a short lunge. We could take this into a longer lunge. Step your left leg back further. Again, bend the back knee, hollow. Keep your right knee wide. Let the left heel flip out. And as you do that, start to straighten the left leg. Soften your ribs back, hollow the low belly. Keep flipping the left heel out. Maybe you even want to try to lift your right heel. So you're pulling both inner ankles up and letting your upper body spiral, right ribs back, and push forward through your left hand. Shift the back foot forward. Lean your weight more into the back foot. Let your left heel go back. Start to straighten the back leg. Lean your weight into your back leg just enough so you can push down into the back foot, letting the front of the left hip start to open. As you start to feel that elastic tension, keep your chin in. Let the left hip open even more and lean back into that tension, almost like you're letting that hammock hold you. Bring monkey arms forward, and then push your arms forward as your ribs slide back. Lean into your back leg. Start to straighten the back knee. Push the arms forward. Lift your chest open through your arms. And look for the shaking. If there's a shaking there, that's your nervous system trying to rewire a new pattern. Hollow the belly. Soften the ribs back. Let yourself go forward. Step your feet together and bow. Inhale, reverse skydive. Exhale, float. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, vortex chair. Hips back and to the left. Float the right foot up. Find the place of ease. Ribs back. Then tilt into your lunge. Let the belly hollow back. Spin the thigh. Slide your left ribs back. Now you can take this into a longer lunge. Still keep most of the weight in your front leg. Left knee wide. Let the right heel fall out as the right thigh spins in. Let the right hip wrap around. And then once you have it about as straight as you can, come up high on the ball mount of the foot. Start to open the front of your right hip as you slide the ribs back. And then if you want to challenge it even more, lift the front heel and slide your front knee and back heel away from each other. The left ribs go back. Right hand pushes forward. Take another breath here, reaching those 2 points away from each other. And then shorten your lunge just a little bit. Slide your weight into your back leg. Right heel still flips out. Lean into the back leg. Let the front of the hip start to open. You can use a few pulses here to see if you can get that feeling of opening where you're leaning into the elastic hammock. And once you have that, bring your monkey arms out in front of you. Ribs back as you push the arms forward. Start to straighten the back leg as you push out through your arms, leaning into that hammock. And then swing forward, step forward, and fold. Inhale, reverse skydive halfway up. Soften the front of the ribs. Find the weight in the outer edges of the feet. Wings open wide. Now keep a softness in your back, but how much can you open the front of your wings? And then exhale, float down. Place your hands, step your feet back into a downward facing dog, but set your hands up the way that we set them up before. So turn the hands in more than you're used to. And instead of having the hands out, bring the hands right at shoulder width. Let the inner edge of your hand lift, fingers are soft. Soften the elbows. Spin the shoulder blades so the elbows point more back towards the knees. And then soften the knees so the hands push forward and it's pushing the weight back into your legs. Take an inhale here. Let yourself fill in all directions. Then an exhale to soften. Bend your knees close to the floor. And instead of coming up high on the toes, bend your knees close to the floor. Push your hands and feet in opposite directions. And as you do that, keep your knees close. And then feel that ripple come through your whole body as you continue to push those two places away from each other. Then take an inhale here, heart peaks forward. And then like you're parachuting again, keep some of the wind in your sails on the front of your body as you lower all the way down to the floor. Set your hands about as wide as on either side of your ribs. Turn the hands in. Keep the toes down and the knees down. Hollow the low belly, pelvis away from the floor first. Use the push of your hands to start to lift the front of your rib cage away from the floor to hollow that. And then keep that. Keep using the hands to support that. Even lift the toes. Keep softening the front of your body into the back of your body. Use the support of the hands. And then try to pull your heart forward. And then lower down. Slide your hips back towards your heels. Keep your toes tucked under. Lean back into your heels. Take an inhale here. Push your monkey arms forward. Lift your chest. Come up high on the ball mounds of your feet. And open up through your heart. And then as you exhale, hollow, soften back. Almost like a vortex camel. And again, lean into the ball mounds of your feet. Keep everything hollowing back as you push your arms forward. Chin stays in. Open up through your heart. And then hollow back. Bring your hands out in front of you. And find your downward facing dog again. And it doesn't have to be a static dog. Let yourself move into it. Let yourself sway into it, finding the places that seem interesting to you, finding the connection from the pinky packet all the way into the shoulder blades so it's not getting locked up in the neck. Soften your knees, hollow your belly. The hollowing of the belly is going to give you the ability to move your pelvis side to side. So hollow the belly, shift your hips and your heels to the left. So much so that your right foot goes all the way flat. Bend your knees. Press your left hand, right foot away from each other in a diagonal. Soften the front of your ribs into the back of your body. Keep the elbows soft so there's nothing going on in the neck. And then find a pulse here. And as you pulse, keep breathing into your top ribs. Even gently crawl your right fingers forward. And then keep your pelvis back, belly hollow. Shift your hips back into the right until your left foot goes flat. Now find the diagonal between your right hand and your left foot. Push those 2 points away from each other. Soften the ribs, left arm, almost no weight. Find a pulse, breathing into the left ribs. And keep using those diagonals going side to side. Left hand, right foot. Right hand, left foot. You can keep going on your breath. Side, side. You can add a little bit more. Maybe shift your weight back more, soften the ribs. Maybe touch your elbow back towards your knees. The weight stays in the legs. Back. Soft hollow. If you want to bring a little bit more, if you've been used to this already, you can add a little bit of a bounce. And back into your downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. Exhale, soften the knees, bring your heart slightly forward. Soften the elbows, shift your weight side to side, finding that connection from shoulder blade to hand. And then keep your toes on the floor, belly stays hollow, but find a little bounce in your pelvis. Toes stay down. And it's not mechanical, it's finding the elastics underneath the skin. And now from here, if you're feeling it, maybe you're going 1 foot, 2 feet one side, 2 feet the other. If you're coming up high enough, maybe you're clapping your feet. Come up a little higher, clap your feet. If you're coming up really high, clap your feet twice, or go for the world record of clapping. Bend your knees close to the floor. Sit back on your heels, close your eyes, and let yourself take a few breaths. Notice anything that feels different. Let your heart slow, let your breath slow. But see if you can find a more expansive breath where it feels like your whole body is being expanded from the inside. Let your ribs lift on an inhale. Let the exhale be just a softening. Bring your eyes open again. Bring your hands out in front of you. Lift your hips up and back for, again, a downward facing dog. We're going to start it the same way. You're going to shift your hips and your heels over to the left. You're going to push your left hand and right foot away from each other. And then you're going to use that push, bend the elbow. Find the connection between the shoulder blade and the pinky packet of muscle. And then play with taking the other hand, other foot away from the floor. Then keep the knees bent. Push. Let the ribs soften. Armpit opens. Hips come down. Roll onto your butt. Then take a pause. Feet are soft. Belly is hollow. And again, it's not how much can I squeeze. Can you relax the superficial muscles and even start to draw that feeling of what's holding you deeper past the hip flexors into the low belly, almost like you're being held up into your diaphragm. Arms soft, legs soft. Then cross your right foot over your left. You're going to lean with the left hand, push left hand, right foot away from each other. Parachute your ribs back. Use the push to come back up. Other side, right hand, left foot. Use that diagonal line, push it away from each other. Lift the opposite hand, opposite foot. Soften back, weight is in the legs. Hollow, keep the push. Hips down. Roll onto your seat. Again, legs soft, ribs soft. Finding a place of ease where you can move dynamically. Again, cross your left over your right. Right hand comes down. Find that diagonal line. Push. Ribs soften back. Come back. One more time each side. Going to add a little something to it. Push left hand, right foot away from each other. Soften. Parachute back. Hips come down. Come onto your hips. Find that same softness. You can use your hands. If you feel like you're starting to grab in the hip flexors, use your hands. Let everything turn in. Soften into yourself a little bit. And then from here, find it again. Arms soft, hands soft. And now just go ahead and rock over to your right butt. Let your left butt lift. Can you find an ease and a softness there? Soften the legs, soften the arms. Then shift your left butt down. Lift the right. Again, finding the place of ease. What needs to twist, what needs to rotate. Right butt. And then left butt. You can add a little bit more to it. When you go to your right, you can hollow, let yourself roll down. Roll back up onto your right. Roll to the left. Let yourself roll down. Use momentum to come back up. One more time, right. And again, nothing is static, nothing is stuck. Finding the places where you can make this as playful and soft as you can. Cross right over left. Find the diagonal. Come back. Other side. Come up. Shift to one side. I'm not going to roll here because I'm going to fall. I might be able to get away with it over here. Cross. Bring it back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Walk your feet to your hands. Let your thighs roll in as you fold forward. And then to come up, sitting bones towards each other. So now your knees are going to start to widen, sitting bones towards each other. Everything externally rotates to come up. And now to come down, it's the opposite. Let your hips start to fold in, the belly hollows. Knees stay wide, but they roll in as you come down. And now these 2 points, the 2 sitting bones right here, this is where we organize. Sitting bones come towards each other. And as those 2 hug in, the knees go wide, and that lifts you up. And then the opposite. Hips hollow, sitting bones go back and apart. Thighs roll in to fold down. Bring your hands down. Bring your knees down. Swing your legs out in front of you. And again, let everything roll in and make your way onto your back. Take a moment. Take a moment to set yourself here. Feet are about as wide as your hips. I'm going to turn the toes in a little bit and see if you can already feel the sense of that hollow. Almost like you're softening back into the floor. You can use your elbows for a little bit of support. Take an inhale here. And then in order to start to lift, instead of just thinking you're going to push your pubic bone up, you're going to start to reach your knees away from you. So reach your knees away from you. From outer glutes connected into your outer feet. And as you reach your knees away from you, that's what lifts the pelvis. So your glutes are going to engage, but not by a squeeze up, but by an opening of the front of the hips, reaching the knees away. Then you're slowly going to reverse that. And one vertebrae at a time, let your spine come back down to the ground. When the sacrum comes all the way down, again, outer glutes push into outer feet. The knees go wide. Opening up the front of the hips, but not by jamming up, by lengthening away. And then slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Everything comes down. Trying to feel every inch of your spine on the floor. And then notice as you do this, keep doing it on your breath, which parts of your spine don't give up so easily towards the floor. And now let yourself kind of hang, let your pelvis kind of hang into that hammock, so there's some weight in the legs, but it's almost effortless. Let yourself sway from your outer right foot to your outer left foot. Again, almost sitting into that hammock of connective tissue. And the next time that you go to your right, from your outer right butt to your outer right foot, push down, reach your right knee away. And then come down, shift over to the left, outer left butt to outer left knee. And then let yourself go side to side, getting that same hollowing and wrapping of your pelvis. And one more time, vertebra by vertebra. Let yourself soften down. Take your feet a little wider. Let both knees fall over towards the left. This is going to be a very similar shape to what we've been doing. So there's a hip pocket on the right side. There's the heel that's trying to lift up towards the ceiling. And then reach from your left ribs out long through your left knee, finding a long line there. You can bring your right hand to your right knee. You could reach your left arm over, working a long left side. You could even lean over, getting more of a side stretch. And if you want a little more, you can cross your right foot over your left thigh. And it's not pushing the thigh down. It's giving the thigh length, so it's moving in the direction of the knee, opening up the front of the hip, the side of the hip. And take a few breaths right into that left side. And then undo, legs the other way. Find the long line from your right ribs all the way out through your right knee. The belly is hollow, and then it's lengthening out. Left hand goes to right knee. You can cross the ankle or not. Reach the right arm long. And then just breath. So instead of one long maximum hold, can you feel the pulse of your breath sliding and gliding into those tissues? And then undo that. Give yourself a few moments, either with your knees bent with the soles of the feet on the ground, or legs all the way out, or even just in a comfortable seat. Yeah. Have fun with it. Take as much time with any of these movements as you'd like. You don't have to go through the exact sequence that I did. You don't have to take any one of those movements and absolutely put it in front of another one of those movements. You can just experiment and play with one at a time, really unwrap it, really start to mine the gold and the diamonds that are in these individual movements. The flow together, that's almost secondary. Any one of these movements can take you an hour to explore, to experiment, to find something really cool about what your body can do with them. Yeah?